Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your App of the Week. Chugging along, let's move on to our next segment, and we're talking about the App of the Week. And so it's like a trend moving along, and it's all connected. So we're talking about the Google LM, Notebook LM rather, that Google also talked about. We know that this has been there for a while on the web. There was a web interface and all of that. And finally, we got that app, even though it's kind of riddled with a lot of unlabeled buttons. But here's the demonstration of the Google Notebook LM. Hi, Warren here for Blind Android Users Podcast. As we continue with our series of the App of the Week in our episodes, for this week's episode 233, App of the Week, this is demonstrating the long-awaited Google Notebook LM. Prior till now, Google had this only as a web interface. With the introduction of the app on the Play Store now, I would like to demonstrate this app. Before I get into the demonstration, however, I would like to navigate to the About so we hear the description of the app, and then we'll come back and hit that install button. Here is that description.
About this app. Heading: Google Play Store. Google Notebook LM. Details. Understand anything with a personalized AI research assistant. Turn complexity into clarity with Notebook LM, your brain's new best friend. Join the millions of students, creators, researchers, professionals, CEOs, and more who are saving time, getting stuff done, and learning in new ways. Notebook LM blew our mind. Hard fork. One of the most compelling and completely flabbergasting demonstrations of AI's potential yet, the Wall Street Journal. Now, with the Notebook LM app, you can create and access notebooks, ask questions whenever you think of them, and listen to your podcast-style audio overviews on the go with background playback and offline support. Books upload sources. Upload all your long and complex PDFs, websites, YouTube videos, or text into a notebook. Speech balloon insights you can trust. Notebook LM becomes an expert on your sources, summarizing them and making interesting connections. Then, you can ask it questions about, well, anything, and you can trust the answers, since your sources are cited inline. Headphone learn on your terms. Long blocks of text not your preferred way to learn. Transform what you uploaded into something more your speed, like a podcast-style audio discussion with two engaging AI hosts. You can even join the show to ask questions or steer the conversation in a different direction. App info. Version: the 15th of May 2025.759320829. Updated on May 16, 2025. Downloads: 100,000 plus downloads. Download size: 18.85 megabytes. Required OS: Android 10 and up. Offered by Google LLC.
And that's both the description of the app and the app history. I'll now navigate my way to the installation page.
Play Store. About this app. Install button. Verified by Play Protect. Pending. Navigate up button. Google Notebook LM. 0%. 33%. 100%. Installing. Shortcut to Notebook LM added on home screen.
We're done with the installation, and we're told that the shortcut has been added to the home screen. And by the way, for today's demonstration, I'm utilizing my Galaxy S23 Plus running Android 15 that is based on One UI 7. I'll now tap on that Open, and let's get started.
Open button. Notebook LM. Listen and learn. On the go, turn your sources into engaging audio discussions with one click.
That's what we heard when we first opened up the app. And let's go through the user interface and see what we have here in the way of buttons or any other controls that we may find and where these are located. Starting from the top, as I always do, I'm going to start with the top left, see if I find anything out there. Putting my finger on the top left corner, I don't hear anything, although visually though, I can see some writing up there. Moving my finger to the right, I don't seem to find anything there either. So I'll move my finger down and toward the middle of the phone.
Listen and learn. On the go, turn your sources into engaging audio discussions with one click. Window.
That's what we heard when we launched the app. And now at the very bottom, there's a big button.
Get started button.
It's the Get Started button. I'll tap.
Signed in as Warren Carr.
The first thing we heard is talking about our account, and that's found there on the top right corner of the app. And now below that, starting from the left, we have some tabs that are simply called buttons. Here's what we got.
Selected. Recent. Button.
We got Recent, moving right.
Shared. Button.
Next.
Title. Button.
Next.
Downloaded. Button.
And Downloaded. In other words, items that you have downloaded. Now, moving down, we come across some samples.
Hot beverage. Mugifier documents. 6 sources, November 28, 2023.
And to the right of that is an unlabeled button. Believe it or not, Google did not label these things. And you'll have to rely on your TalkBack or whatever screen reader to find the labeling. And to the right of that is the play button.
Detected icon. Play.
That's what we have there. Now, at the very bottom, we have another button.
Create new. Button.
Create new. In other words, if you tap here, you'll be creating your own or uploading your own files and things of that nature. Before we get to that creating new, though, why don't we look at a little sample by tapping on this one up here?
Hot beverage. Mugifier documents. 6 sources, November 28, 2023.
If I simply tap on it,
Mugifier documents. Button. Detected icon. Back.
we're on the back button on the top left corner. And below that,
Mugifier documents. Heading.
and moving on down.
NotebookLM can be inaccurate, so double-check. These texts provide a multifaceted view of a Mugifier, a novel device designed to transform everyday objects into functional drinkware. They include an official announcement highlighting its features and the company behind.
I just stopped the reading. Now, below all of this text, we have some unlabeled buttons. We've got 3 of them starting from the left. It's a button that's simply saying "Oh," and when you tap on that, it'll copy that to the clipboard.
Button.
If I tap here,
Detected
for example,
text O. Copy to clipboard.
Now, the next button is the like button, which is also unlabeled, but of course your screen reader will do the heavy lifting.
Button. Detected icon like.
And then the last button to the right of that.
Button. Detected icon thumbs down.
Now, below all of that is an edit field where you could ask questions.
Edit box asks 6 sources.
And to the right of that will be the unlabeled send button. But however, when you let your focus stay on there for a while, it will say send.
Button. Detected icon send.
Now below that, we got some 3 tabs at the bottom. At the very left, we've got
Sources. Tab 1 of 3.
we got sources. Moving to the right,
Selected. Chat. Tab 2 of 3.
that's the chat. So we are actually in the chat because that's where you're asking the questions. And then the last tab on the right
Studio. Tab 3 of 3.
is the studio. So if I tap on the studio, for example,
Studio. Tab 3 of 3. Selected.
and below that in the middle of the phone,
Play. Button.
we have the play button. And I don't think that Google is going to mind us having a little sample. So I'm going to tap here to play. It may take a little while for it to generate the podcast-like style that it will show us. And I'm still waiting. Like I said, it does take a little while. I think it takes about some 10 to 20 or so seconds, depending on the size of the material. So I'm waiting for that to be prepped. And once it's done, we should be able to play it or hear what is going on in a podcast.
All right, so
Media
get this.
control. Mugifier documents.
Somebody invented something
NotebookLM.
called the
Media
Mugifier.
ongoing activity.
Mugifier.
Button.
Yeah, the Mugifier.
Detected
It
icon
supposedly
close.
turns
Text
like
X.
almost anything into a mug. You guys sent us a ton of info on this thing. Press releases, even a CEO letter, even a user manual, all because you want to know genius invention or total
And now, though, the display,
Really good
I'm going to
question.
kind
And
of
we've
pause
got
it so
like a
we'll
really
go
interesting
through the interface
range
here.
of perspectives to dig into here.
Yeah.
We've got
Button.
company hype, we've got user.
We're now on this page where we have some buttons and playback controls and all of that. Let's start, though, by showing you what we have here. On the top left corner, we've got,
Button.
that's the close button.
Detected icon. Close. Text X.
And then to the right of that is the heading.
Modifier documents. Heading.
And then to the right of that is a button that is unlabeled, but it's the download and
Button. Detected icon. Download. Text 7.
now let's move on down.
029.
We hear the progression,
5%. Slider.
the progress here. Moving on down.
1015.
I think that's talking about the duration of the entire podcast. And directly below that, we've got a couple buttons that are also unlabeled. Like I indicated, most of these buttons, or just about all of them, are unlabeled. We've got,
Button.
that's the share button. I
Detected
believe.
icon. Share.
And to the right of that,
1 times. Show menu.
that's the speed. So if you tap here, for example,
Pop-up menu. 0.5 times. Button.
they're arranged in a vertical order. So if you move down or if you swipe,
1 times. Button.
swipe again,
1.5 times. Button.
swipe again.
2 times. Button.
And that's the last speed control. Now, flanking all of these are 2 buttons, one to the left and one to the right, and both simply say dismiss.
Dismiss menu.
That is, dismiss the menu. So if you tap here, whether you tap the one on the right or on the left, it will dismiss or close this menu of the speed control.
Modifier documents. 1 times. Show menu.
And now at the bottom, we've got some 3 buttons, and these are the playback control, and they are, of course, unlabeled. We've got the first one on the left that will be to skip back by 10 seconds,
Button.
and it says
Detected
button.
text 10.
And then to the right of that,
Button.
that's the play pause button.
Detected icon. Play.
And then the last one on the right, that will be to jump by 10 seconds forward.
Button. Detected text 10.
And that's what that is. Now I'll go back.
Media ongoing activity. Button.
And now we're back in this area where we could see the tabs again. And if we tap on the sources, for example.
Sources. Tab. Sources. Tab 1 of 3.
And
Selected.
then we hear,
Announcement. Letter from the CEO. Modifier pros and cons. Product specs. Review by Tracy Ocampo. User manual.
and that's the last item there. I'm going to go back.
Signed in as Warren Carr.
We're back to the menu eye where we saw the account on the top right corner. And at the very bottom,
Create new. Button.
we have that create new that we haven't gone into. And if we tap here,
Button. Detected icon. Close.
the first thing we heard in this window is the unlabeled button that says close. In other words, if we tap here, we'll be closing this window. Now, that close is found toward the middle on the right edge of the phone. Now, moving down below there, we've got
Add source.
the add source, and so you will choose the source from which you would like to add a document or video, whatever.
Sources let NotebookLM base its responses on the information that matters most to you.
And moving down,
PDF. Button.
next,
Website. Button.
next,
YouTube. Button.
and
Copied text. Button.
that's all that we have. I do not think I would be demonstrating a document here because Google may flag me down for copyright. So I'm not going to upload a PDF or anything of that sort. But let's say you want to upload something from YouTube and you tap on the YouTube.
YouTube. Button. YouTube URL.
And so in other words, you'll have to provide the URL.
Paste in a YouTube URL below to upload as a source in NotebookLM. Edit box. Paste URL.
And below that,
Notes. Only the text transcript will be imported at this moment. Only public YouTube videos are supported. Recently uploaded videos may not be available to import.
And there's a button at the bottom.
Add. Button. Disabled.
It's the add, and which is disabled because I haven't chosen anything. Well, that would conclude this short demonstration of the Google Notebook LM. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy playing with this app. So that's the demonstration of that Google Notebook LM. I noticed, though, that there, besides those unlabeled buttons and all of that, the one thing that I noticed that wasn't there in the Notebook LM app is that you're not able to add notes like you would if you are using the web interface and all of that. So there are certain things that are still missing in this, but of course it's the first iteration, and all the unlabeled buttons, just like we had when we first had Gemini. I'm hoping, though, that with an update, we'll get those buttons labeled, and then we'll also get the note-taking feature of the Notebook LM on the web that currently we don't have on the app.